How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition. This is the Good Bit Podcast. We are so happy and delighted to have you with us this week as we conclude our little Oscar season that we've had on the podcast this past couple of months, as we're continuing to chat about some of the films that are nominated this year that we can chat about that we either have or have not seen, depending on who you ask and who we've decided to have on the panel once again here on the podcast. We're doing a nice wee remote episode this week. This is what I'm saying, this new year, honestly, I just spat all over the mic. That's a good way to start. It's this new kind of regime that we're doing. I'm doing something different every week, it seems. It's trial and error. We're on Zoom this week. I'm with Iona and Ian. It's weird that I'm not in the same room as either of them. Usually I am. So it is strange. Iona, you've got your haircut.
I know, I got a haircut. Woohoo!
How did that go today?
That was today. And also got my nails done too. So a little self-care day, it was needed. But
if that's not an incentive for everybody to go and watch the video version on YouTube to see Iona's nails and hair, I don't know what is.
Well, I'm going to get my hair cut tomorrow, and I might just get my nails done as well. You've inspired me.
Yeah.
What colour are you going to go for?
I don't know. What do you think? What do you suggest, Iona, for a first-timer?
You're asking me. I'm really boring with my nails.
But I'm a nail virgin, so, what do I do?
Go for like a nice red. You may as well pop a colour.
Mm-hmm.
Or a nice pink, maybe. We're coming into spring.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. A little bit of nail art. Get some flippers on there. That'd be lovely.
Yeah, you think? Yeah. Will it raise my profile?
Possibly, yeah. I think it will.
Right. I might even get a video done then, and maybe Chris can use it for this show.
Yeah.
He's flinging everything at it at the moment. So, me getting my nails done. He'd probably not say no to that.
As much content as possible. I'm trying to think of a pun. Here. The Good Bite Podcast, because you would be biting your nails. Never mind.
Or there could be, just call it With Nail and I. And there you go. Or With Nails and I.
With Nails and I. Okay.
So anyway, moving on. Yeah.
That was like a record scratch. No, it doesn't matter. Right, so I also got my hair cut. Thanks for noticing, everybody. All right, so
handsome. You look so handsome, Sarah. There you go.
Did you get a haircut, or did you just get it razored a little bit?
Both.
So did you? Did he have to take some inches off top?
Yeah, it gets really long at the top. Looks nice.
All right, okay, that's quite neat.
Thank you. Just for today. Right, so. Listen, everybody, we've done really, really well the past few months, just keeping up with the podcast. I say the past few months. Yeah, we're in March now, getting back into the swing of things, doing weekly episodes. I appreciate both of you, because these have both been consistently on the show. And we have the Oscars coming up, so we've been kind of watching films that are kind of out just now and kind of on people's minds and that sort of thing. Speaking on people's minds, I'd be remiss not to mention, I was going to go somewhere with that, but this is too good of a segue. We should talk about the Willy Wonka Experience that's in Glasgow. Have you seen these videos online of this thing?
No, I haven't got. No, over to you.
Oh, it's sad.
You've been serious? You haven't seen this?
No.
Okay, so there's this company, right? We'll call it a company, that decided to put on like a kind of exhibit because of the new Wonka film that came out in the end of last year. Right, it was like a immersive experience for, I guess it's for kids, and it's like meant to be this kind of wonderland, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Wonka, whatever. And you know the way, like, sometimes you would make a comment about like the Glasgow version of that, the Scottish version of that, something very American that's on our scale isn't that good. Right? It's pretty much that, but that's no longer a thing now because of like social media. You can't really get away with things not being very good, like, because
I'm really getting quite scared now.
You know.
Okay.
But this was one of those things where it is like they've got pictures of what it was going to look like, and it's actually the Glasgow version. And it's like everything's bootleg. There's like, it's just in a wee room, and there's like statues that were supposed to be big monuments and things like that. And it was like a really badly painted backdrop so kids could take their pictures of a chocolate factory. They have 3 actors that are playing either Oompa Loompas and Wonka himself. And it's just one of those like total like disastrous things, right? That you'd maybe go to like and not pay very much for. But it was, I don't know, 30 quid or something a ticket. I'm not sure how much it was.
Joking.
It was £35 a ticket, yeah.
So people have taken obviously their kids to the Wonka Experience in Glasgow thinking, oh wow, £35, this must be good. And they're walking around this little hall and it is just a total disaster. Everything's like broken and hanging off and not working and badly painted, and then these poor actors are trying hard to kind of make it work. So obviously the parents have like now kicked up fuss, and they've like complained to the people who have organised it, and have written to the news and all this thing, and it's gone totally viral.
Christ.
So I don't know.
I'm not surprised. I mean, it's this soon after Christmas as well, doing something like that. I mean, apart from anything else, it's just nonsense as a business idea in a way.
I don't know if you'll be able to see this, Ian, but I don't know if
And it's not, and we're coming up to Easter as well, when there's going to be stuff.
Exactly.
Oh,
but that was it.
so it's supposed to look like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like
God.
the image online, and then I basically just walked into a warehouse, and it was just empty
Oh, dear God.
of like a couple of bits. Yeah, a backdrop that was like a tablecloth on a wall. It was so bad.
That's like something you'd do at college, but just for like, rehearsal. Oh dear God.
Yeah,
What a
that's
shame.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's
so there's
brilliant.
So there's been lots of complaints and
Yeah. And then one of the actors that was playing Willy Wonka had been given a script to learn, and he turned up on the day and he said there's lots of like effects and like things that are supposed to be happening, but you don't have the equipment to do that. So what am I meant to do with the scripts? Like that's referencing all these like magical things that are going on. And the guys running it just says, "Oh, just do what you want." So he was like,
oh, that's a recipe for disaster, isn't it? As I always used to say, like, if you want to know if what you've written or created is any good, ask a bunch of actors, because they're like Rottweilers. They just instinctively are able to pick all the holes in everything you've done and tell you where you've gone wrong and where it's failing. And it's the best thing to do if you genuinely want feedback. Get a bunch of actors on it.
Exactly.
They'll soon tell you, where it's all falling apart and what you've done is rubbish.
They added this other character called the Unknown, and you can see here in the video version if you're watching on YouTube. So there's the Unknown coming out from behind the mirror. So obviously you wouldn't remember that from Willy Wonka. So that person's come out.
But it's not even like dark with lights. It's like they've not put the workers off.
So
no,
that's happened, right? And apparently in the script, Willy Wonka was supposed to come out and vacuum up that new character with a Hoover, and the Willy Wonka character's like, so how are we going to do that?
You see, a really, really good bunch of comedians could have made something of that.
They will, they will.
They really could have done something with that, and it would have been a fun show to go and see.
So Jen on Twitter has said, "I cannot put into words how enchanted I am by the Willy Wonka fiasco in Glasgow. Cops called, kids crying in terror, all in an abandoned warehouse. This is the organic horror we've been missing for ages. A pure lust for the chaos, and no multi-million-dollar company could recreate this." Oh my God, it's hilarious. And I mean, obviously I feel bad for the people, but there obviously been lots of complaints and stuff. It was on the news. Yeah. It was that big. But the funniest thing is the guy who was organising it.
It was on the news.
It was on the news. John Mackay covered it. And
all right.
And the guy that was like organising the whole thing is like just publicly like putting out videos and stuff like that. Just like, I'm really, really sorry. I'm really sorry.
Oh God. It's going to be a documentary, haven't you, on something?
Like
Panorama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
in a couple of years' time, there'll be a 2-part documentary.
I thought maybe
interviewing the people involved.
the poor actors and the people who win. I felt bad the fact that Wonka didn't get any nominations for the Oscars. I thought it was good fun, but this has just topped it. This whole thing, this fiasco.
Good God. Wow. Right. Well, I'm so glad that you. That's very interesting. You've certainly got your finger on the pulse there, Chris.
Always.
So I hadn't heard about that. No, that's terrible. But very funny at the same time.
Very funny. I hope everyone's okay. I just want people to have fun. Right.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So this year's Oscars, I don't know. We were kind of talking before we started recording here, and we don't really, definitely as I'm getting older, and I'm sure you guys are the same, but I'm not like totally enamoured and putting all the pressure on the Oscars for like that seal of approval like I used to. I think Ian and I were talking about this when we chatted about Maestro at the start of the year.
Yeah.
It's like we don't know what it's up against and that sort of thing, but how significant do we think that should be? Like, does it need that seal of approval, Whereas, like, it's like a status thing, right? Like, so if you hear that it's nominated for Best Picture, then it must be good. But there's plenty of great films,
Yeah. Yeah, there is. And it would be very easy to be like I am normally these days. It's just because I'm getting old and bitter. But, you know, you start to wonder the legitimacy of these things, of the any award ceremony. What's the point, you know? And well, I know what the point is. It's marketing and all that sort of thing. But actually, do a lot of these movies need that marketing anymore? You know, and similarly, I think about it in terms of the music business, because in the music business now, it's very hard for musicians to make any money at all from streaming and so on and so forth, right? So, and there used to be a thing, I maybe mentioned this before, there used to be a thing in cinema years and years ago, and the French still have it, where there's a kind of a levy. So for every film, Hollywood film that they want to release in France, they have to pay a levy to the French industry. Right, so money goes back into the French industry, and we badly need that in Britain, because where's the finance coming from? Any kind of art, you know, and it should happen with the big record companies should be doing this as well, as far as I'm concerned. You know, if they want to sell records in this country, they should then, for every X amount of pounds, put X amount of pounds into to try and encourage the industry in the country that they're selling records in. You know, I think it's relatively reasonable. It's not even a tax as such. It's you're sort of forcing them to make an investment in the industry that they're actually taking advantage of. And I think that should, they still do it in France. They used to do it in Britain all the time. And that's why you used to get so many films in Britain, you know, and they were called I can't remember what they were called, but they were made in a hurry because they had so many films that there was a quota.
Right.
Of films that they had to make every year in order to be able to release a certain amount of films themselves. You know, so they were called quota films or something like that. And
right.
The standard wasn't very good, but it gave a lot of opportunities to up-and-coming artists, not just actors, but film directors and cinematographers and art directors and designers and so on. And I think it would maybe, I'm not saying it's a solution, but I think it would be a good way to reinvest some of the embarrassingly huge amounts of money that are spent on awards ceremonies and prizes and gifts to, you know, for people to take part in them. It's embarrassing in a way, and that's how I feel about the Oscars. I think it's not that I would maybe get rid of them. I'd maybe want to see them done differently, so that there's no winners. We're just celebrating what was done this year.
Yeah,
in a sort of Mardi Gras. So there's no embarrassing kind of you know, highlighting particular people or particular films or something like that. You know, it was just a general celebration. There's no competition.
Yeah.
And also because I was thinking, sorry, oh God, I'm off on one now. But I was thinking, I don't know what you think, but I was thinking that, you know, recently I have been thinking, I must admit, that you can't trust the decision making of the people who award these things, either BAFTA or, you know, the Academy in America or any other, Palme d'Or as well. Who's making the decisions? And then I realized that that's true for the entire history of the thing. You know, it's not just that I'm thinking this now. I mean, you could never trust it. It was always politics. It was always who was the most, a sort of popularity contest instead of a genuine meritocracy of things, you know. And I think that it's getting to the stage now where, because we have to, it's getting so confused and tripping over itself and not ignoring the contributions of this group of people over that group of people and blah, blah, blah. So why are you even bothering choosing favorites or choosing the best? Yeah. Because that's impossible and actually ridiculously untrue. There is no best. Because it involves taste, it involves
subjective,
subjective views, you know. So what you want to do to encourage people to indulge in cinema is indulge whole areas of cinema.
When it comes to the Oscar season, I try to watch all the Best Picture nominations, because when I'm watching the award ceremony, I know I'm going to watch the award ceremony as a film guy, so I want to know what's going on. So I always feel more rewarded personally when I've seen the films, because now I know what they're talking about, right? It's just like anything. But it's kind of like what you're saying though. I like the fact that different things are nominated for Best Picture, and it is 10 films, right? So it's a good amount. And usually there are differences, right? So, for example, this year we've got a German war film, and we've got a massive blockbuster, and then we've got the classic Scorsese film, and then we have a biopic, and we've got a bit of everything, right? So that's good. Lots of original screenplays too. It's just when you watch all the films at this time of year, it's almost like a staple of what cinema was like in 2024 or whatever.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
just never really understood how the whole, like, the award and the nominations are given. Like, do they just start with all the films they see, and it's chosen by a panel like the Academy, which seems to be ever growing, right? So I don't know.
Of course it is, because if you win, then you join. You know,
exactly, right.
You can join, but you can. But if you win, then you become part of that, and then you vote.
And you can narrow it down. But like, what does that mean if there's loads of people voting? Right?
Yeah, but it's like with there's inconsistencies, isn't there? I mean, I don't know what do you think about this, Iona, in sense of like when it comes to somebody, I was talking to somebody and they were saying, oh, maybe there shouldn't be a best actor and best actress category and it should just be mixed in, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, well, yeah, but how do you feel about that when it comes to directors? What if there was a best acting, best male director, why isn't there a best? It's inconsistent, is all I'm saying, you know, and I don't know which one you go for, but that's why I think having groups celebrating, you know, the best, you know, just observing who were the best directors and maybe, looking at the proportion of the balance so that you can keep an eye on the balance and keep it in check, you know, and be aware of it. And
all the best directors this year are nominated for Best Picture too, so it's the same stuff.
And that usually happens, yeah.
You know?
That always happens. What annoys me is that, you know, we had the film a couple of years ago, the best there was a best foreign language film won Best Picture for the first time.
Parasite, yeah.
And everyone was getting so excited about it, and it was a great film. But what then thought was, well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and have a category that is the best movies from this part of Asia, and then best movies from
Europe.
India and that sort of part of Asia, and then the best movies from North African and South African, and because the cinema and in the Middle East and South America, you know, because the films coming from there are phenomenally good. You know, you just have to watch sort of Mark Cousins' set of films about world cinema, and you realise that the things that
so much out there, so much
by you don't know they exist.
Yeah. I thought they would maybe add a category at some point soon over the next few years about best film on streaming or something like that, because it's like competing with the big cinema blockbusters as well must be kind of tricky.
Yeah.
But obviously that's my opinion. Iona, I don't know about you, like in terms of following the Oscars. Was it just until you met me and like you weren't that bothered about films and Oscars and award shows and stuff?
Yeah, I never remember you first told me that you were watching the Oscars and trying to watch all the movies. What? Really? I was like, oh no, I'll just go see like a movie in the year, but to me it doesn't really matter if it's like Oscar nominated or not.
One movie a year. Iona sees one movie a year.
No, not just one, me too. But with the podcast, I've really tried this year to make an effort to see more movies in general, and then try to watch or be conscious of the Oscar nominations and all that. I've done okay this year. I don't know how many I've watched. I've actually not
really well. Yeah, but considering you weren't watching any of them, you know what I mean? It's definitely you can't just start watching these random films all at once, because you do kind of tune out and stuff. You need to kind of want to follow it and stuff. So you need to make baby steps. So it's been good. You've done really well. And
you've probably seen more than I have. Did you see many of the? You're talking about the Oscar ones. Did you see many of them before we knew that we were going to be nominated?
No, because I mean I'm not. Well, now that I've got my Cineworld card, see if I got that like before Christmas, I'd have been at cinema all the time.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't really. I thought, oh, it looks good, but no, I'm not going to go see it.
You're not going to pay for it.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it's so much money these days. But now everything's kind of went down in price. So it's a bit easier. So this week I was definitely trying to see, and last week as well, what's nominated, what can I see? And then some of the stuff you need to buy and rent. I thought, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
it obviously came out months ago. So that was the only thing. Like, try to see Oppenheimer. I was never going to go see that in the cinema because it was like, how long? 3 hours nearly. So but no, that's not for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I've tried my best.
Well, listen, sorry.
No. I was going to ask who do you go with to the cinema most? Who do you go with?
Normally it's Chris.
Yeah.
Normally me and you go. And me and my sister will go a few times. But
Mhm.
this week, actually, I went by myself for the first time ever.
The big moment Iona used her Cineworld Unlimited card for a solo trip. Tell us about your experience, because I want to know genuinely
Yeah.
about it. And I remember you told me something happened on your way to the film.
Yeah. Oh. So I went to see Poor Things this week.
Okay.
And seeing as I kind of got over me not seeing it in protest. Don't know if you heard about that, Ian.
I'm not
I
sure
was
I did.
I was
Protest.
put off the podcast because it got Amanda on. So I was told I don't need you to watch the film anymore. Amanda's doing the podcast. So
Oh,
I went,
because you didn't turn up for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not that I didn't turn up. I was told that I wasn't needed. So I went, okay, I'm not going
That's
to go.
not true whatsoever.
That's what happened. That is what happened. You said, "Oh, I've got Amanda, so that you don't really need to see it anymore, or you don't need to come on the podcast." And I thought,
Mhm.
right, I'm not going to go see it, but I went to see it this week. So that was my solo trip. But I'd been looking at that many view times, like what's shown where, how many can I see? I'd got confused with the time in my head, and obviously there's ads and all that before the movie starts. So in my head, I thought this movie, Poor Things, starts at whatever, like 10 to 3 or whatever time I was going at.
Yeah.
So I got off the train and I'm walking up to Cineworld quite fast. I'm like, right, I need to get there. Go up to Starbucks or no. Yeah, I went up to Starbucks, got my cup of tea, thought I'll get that just now and then just go up to the
Mhm.
level. And I get in the lift because I knew it was level 5 and I thought, I'm not doing the escalator. I'm not doing that.
God
So I get in
forbid.
and I hit the wee button, and a wee old granny comes walking over. She's like, "Oh, are you going down?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm going up." And she just continues to walk into the lift, and I've already hit level 5. And she says, "Oh well, do you think we can just go down first? Because I'm running for a bus, you see." And gives me like our whole spiel of what a day it's been. She's trying to get cake. She needs to do this. She now is running for this bus so she can get back home on time.
No.
Mm.
And she's like, "So can we just go down first? That'd be great. Thank you so much, dear. That's lovely of you. Thank you." And in my head, I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, I can't control a lift. I've hit a button. I don't know how to make it go down first. And I felt so bad because she was so lovely. But at the same time, I'm like, well, no, because I'm also in a rush thinking this movie's starting in 1 minute and I need to get in, get the ticket, find my seat, get my jacket off, get comfy.
Mm.
So I just felt terrible and I was actually sweating by the time I got to the counter. I was like, "A ticket for Poor Things, please. Any seat, just give me it."
No, but what happened though? The woman came in the lift, and obviously you can't control what happens, so the
She
lift
came
did
in
go
the
up
lift.
first.
So the lift did go up. We're sitting watching like the wee number and the arrow, but it wasn't working. Like there was no light. And I thought, I don't know if it's going up or
I
down.
know the very one. Yeah.
And she's pure banging on at me, being like, "That's so kind of you. You're so lovely letting me go downstairs first to get my bus." And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And it just goes, level 5. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I pure ran out the lift. I went, "I hope you get your bus," and just ran for that because I thought, oh, I feel so
It
bad.
would have
Good
been
for
funny.
you.
Good,
I think
exactly.
I think she was taking advantage of her old lady status, and she's like the Blofeld of Cineworld. She's
Are
just
you
don't trust them.
thought you're going to miss your bus? Anyway.
Absolutely.
It would have been so funny though if you just like slowly walked out the lift and just backed up like, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
I've got things
Probably
to do
got
here.
there and then realised you were 25 minutes early.
Well, yeah, then I sat down and I was
Aye.
actually, I kind of calmed down as I get my ticket and I'm walking in and somebody walks out of the screen and I thought, nobody would walk out just as the movie's starting. I
Yeah.
was like, the adverts are starting, Jesus. So I go in and I find my seat and then I watched all the trailers. It was lovely.
So you get used to it. You just know, okay, and the film's actually going to start 25 minutes after
Do the
that.
math, yeah.
But they catch you out, Cineworld, because they don't leave 25 minutes for unlimited viewings. It's different.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
So if you give it 25 minutes for them, you've missed the beginning.
That's good to know,
Telling you.
actually. I've only done
Yeah.
it once, unlimited viewing, and it was for
Yeah.
Stan and Ollie, the Laurel and
Alright.
Hardy film.
Yeah.
And I remember it vividly because I was waiting for someone downstairs, like at
Yeah.
Renfrew Street, and I turned around and I saw you, Amanda, and Gregor Duncan sprinting in because you were almost late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They don't wait as long. The like the secret ones.
Yeah.
They don't tell you the title. Or the ones where they do. There's never as many adverts. I notice. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to doing that
but
again.
I
that
don't know
back on
about
holiday.
now. That was before the blip when we had the lockdown. But
Yeah.
hey ho.
Well, we went to see The Zone of Interest at the GFT a couple weeks ago. We
Okay,
chatted about that
I've
one.
not seen that. So tell me, the both of you went to see that.
Yeah. What I was
How
going to
did-
say, was the GFT. There's no trailers, and I didn't know that.
I didn't notice that. I thought
Yeah.
there were.
And I missed the start of it. I went to the toilet, didn't I? Missed the start. I came in. It was utter
Oh, okay.
darkness. Yeah.
And how was that for you then? The pair of you.
We enjoyed the film.
Mm-hmm.
We chatted about it last week on the show, and we were saying that it's like, it was one of those films where it's not quite as blockbustery as maybe we're used to, or commercial, I should say, as we're used to. It's one of those films that maybe doesn't have a beginning and middle and end, but and sometimes that's okay because it's just telling you the story of what's happening. So it's about this family living next door to Auschwitz. How do you say Auschwitz? I can't even pronounce it.
Auschwitz.
Yeah.
Switch.
In World War II, and it's just about the kind of commander of the camp and his day-to-day life with his family. You never actually see inside the camp. You never see any war or killing or murder or fighting or anything like that. You just constantly hear gunshots and planes and screaming. And
So is it from the family's point of view then?
yeah,
Yes, it's all within like their family home and like their garden. And it was good. And like some people might think it's boring or nothing really happens, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm actually quite proud that I enjoyed it because
And
normally
you've got, I suppose you've got that constant tension as well, have you?
Yeah,
The dramatic irony that you know what's going on.
you know what's going on and stuff. And I think you would probably appreciate it though, because we were talking about some of the ways it was shot as well. It's almost like the cameras are kind of lodged in the rooms of the house. At no points does it feel like there's a camera person standing filming actors. It looks as if the actors have been given a lot of time just to sit and kind of do the scene and work.
Okay.
And it's a lot of walking around rooms, and the camera cuts as they move from one end of the room to the other and stuff like that. It's almost like CCTV in their home as they're talking about the stuff that's going on at their work, which just so happens to be this concentration camp. So it was a really weird perspective.
Do you think? So you were talking when I started speaking there, Ion. I interrupted you, but were you? Is the wife aware of the concentration camp next door? Do they know that what's going on next door, or do they think it's another
the family
posting?
know? Which watching it, I was
Sorry,
thinking,
do they know what's going on in it though? I suppose that's the point of the question I'm asking you.
yeah. So
They
for
do.
me, in my head, I was thinking this is going to be a really dramatic like reveal moment that we're going to have. But then I kind of clicked on. I was like, oh no, they know what's happening. They're aware of like what the dad's job is and what's happening right next door to them. And it was just quite interesting because they kind of not reference to it. They like one of the kids looks outside his bedroom window and sees what we hear is someone being shot, and he just looks back down with his toys and he's like, he'll never do that again, as if, well, now he's learned his lesson, he's dead. So they all know, like,
quite chilling.
Yeah, they all kind of know what's happening, which kind of added to the whole tension and feeling a bit uncomfortable with it, because you thought, oh, this is just strange to think these people knew, like, that's how they lived.
A nice change of pace, actually, yeah. So, I mean, not a nice film by any means, but very well made, actually. So, definitely worth checking out. And nice that it's nominated for Best Picture, actually. So what I thought we'd do is maybe just go through the categories, and we can just make some comments on the films themselves, and then just make a couple of predictions, what we think will win, and also what we would like to win, because they're two very different things. We kind of mentioned this a couple weeks ago, Ian, as well, about how people just tend to win because they're who they are. So
timing and things like that. Yeah.
Does Leonardo DiCaprio deserve to have a Best Actor Oscar? Absolutely, but he won it for The Revenant just because he was in The Revenant. He was better in in other things. You know what I mean? Like The Wolf of Wall Street and The Departed and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and things like this. But like, The Revenant was the film that year, so they decided, okay, this is going to be Leo's year.
It had that endurance thing going for it as well.
It's a good film, but.
So I think absolutely, yeah. It's not the kind of film I'd watch again, but it's fantastic.
Stressful, absolutely stressful.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So will we believe? Will we?
What are you going to start with then?
What do you think is better? Because there's lots of overlapping. What do you think is better? Should we just do the best pictures first and then go to the other ones?
You should maybe do it in the order they do it. I don't know. What did they do?
Well, they change it every
which
year.
categories do you want to do? Do you want to do supporting actors?
But they do supporting actors first all the time, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We'll start with that then. So, Best Supporting Actor, the nominees this year. Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction. Sorry, I was out at the pub last night and I've damaged my voice. Yeah, by the way, I was at a pub quiz, right? I mean, there was a film round. And one of the questions was, can you name all these films? It was like pictures of different films, and they all have the word over in the name of the film. And one of them was Paul Giamatti from The Holdovers, so I got that question right because of that. And then there was also name 3 obscure Julia Roberts films, and I got the point because I mentioned Leave the World Behind, and no one else had said it.
Oh, did they not?
The film we said the other week, yeah. So I got the point for that one. There we go. Fun fact of the day.
Well,
it's a fact, maybe not fun.
Charlie Wilson's War, something like that.
Well, you know the way Julia Roberts is such a big actress, and then when you're put on the spot, I was like, Notting Hill.
I know. No, you're right. I can't think of many. No.
Okay,
right.
So
who was that?
Best supporting actor is Sterling K. Brown.
Sterling K. Brown, yeah.
In American Fiction. I did not see American Fiction. We also have Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon. We also have Robert Downey Jr. from Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I did
Mark
see that.
Ruffalo in Poor Things. And wait for it, everybody, Ryan Gosling in Barbie.
Is that it? Is that who they've nominated?
That's the 5 Best Supporting Actors nominees. Yes. So we've got people like Robert Downey Jr. and Robert De Niro.
Wow.
Just because we always have to nominate De Niro, even if he was good in Killers of the Flower Moon, but
good God, is that it? There's been better performances than that.
There has been.
There really has.
There's been many.
I mean, there's been some of the supporting performances in Saltburn. I mean, that's just off the top of my head.
The first thing I thought of was Jeremy Allen White from The Iron Claw.
Oh God, yeah. Why is that being ignored?
Absolutely. What a performance.
Is it? I don't know. No, I don't want to say because I'll get letters. I can think of maybe reasons why it's not been. It's just not. Yeah, that's a sitter, isn't it?
Especially that performance.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
What do you think, Iona?
I've not seen a couple of them, so I don't really know. I thought that would be one for The Holdovers, though, for that. Because I really enjoyed The Holdovers, and I thought everybody was great in that.
So the young guy,
Dominic
he was the lead. Yeah, I mean, arguably he was the. Well, he was a sort of co-lead, wasn't he? I think that's gone against him slightly. Maybe.
Well, I don't know. From the ones that we read out there, I believe Robert Downey Jr. will win this because he's won all the other ones.
I do too.
And I've not seen Sterling K. Brown. I'm sure he was great.
I've not seen that one.
But Robert Downey Jr., to give him his credit, was excellent in Oppenheimer.
Was good.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but perhaps the guy in I didn't see American Fiction, unfortunately. And that's the one I really wanted to see. Well, that and The Holdovers were the 2 I wanted to see, and I couldn't. I had to work, and I couldn't go, so I missed it.
What I was going to say earlier on about like the other award shows and stuff, right? Is like again in terms of treating the Oscars as like the main one, right? I don't like picking favourites, as you know, and as I shouldn't, but there's so many award shows, there's so many categories, there's so many films, there's so many people winning the same thing. You get confused. Did that person win? Which one was that they won? It gets so confusing. So I try to just be like, right, I'll pick one, and that's the award show I'll watch, and I'll kind of study and stuff, and I pick the Oscars because I like films and stuff. But all of them happen before the Oscars. All the other ones, the BAFTAs and the Grammys and what's the Golden Globes. So they all happen, and then you kind of know what's coming, essentially, you know? So it is hard to kind of narrow. Sometimes you hope, like, there is a few shocks sometimes, like, for example, Parasite winning Best Picture that year and Spotlight that year. Remember when Spotlight won?
Yeah. It's out of kilter, isn't it? Because even in Anatomy of a Fall, there's some brilliant supporting role performances.
Absolutely,
in
it's
that,
a great film.
That are just, they're not commercial enough. So it's not, it's this monster that's feeding itself. It's not fair. Because there's definitely a more adventurous bunch of actors out there that they could have selected. Definitely.
All right.
That's not to say that none of them were good, but I mean, yeah, come on.
I know. Okay, so for Best Supporting Actress, we have Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. We have Danielle Brooks from The Colour Purple. That's one I didn't see that I was maybe going to try and catch. We have America Ferrera in Barbie, who actually was good. Jodie Foster in Naiad, who I thought was really good as well. And Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers. She won the BAFTA, I believe, for this category. That is your Best Supporting Actress ones. Top of my head on this one, it's probably going to go to Emily Blunt. But I'd like to give it to Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers because she was excellent.
Yeah. No, I saw Emily Blunt and but I think, my taste. I thought that she was superb in The Holdovers. I thought it was a lovely performance. Yeah.
It was. What about you, Iona? Any thoughts on that one?
The same.
I've not seen them all. So.
I part of me kind of would like America Ferrera to win it purely, I think, because her monologue in the movie kind of said it all, and I think it'd be a really cool moment. But I don't think it will. But I cry at everything, as we know. So does that really mean anything if Iona cries? Not really. So I would quite like her to win it. But I watched Naiad and Jodie Foster, like her performance was so good.
She was really good in it, actually.
Yeah. I saw her in True Detective recently. I watched that. And it was nice to see her again. Actually, I just realised that it's been such a long time since I've seen her in anything. It seems,
Yeah.
Last time I saw her was in something after Silence of the Lambs. No, it was the escape room. Is that what's the room? The one with the room.
Oh, Green Room. No, Green Room.
No, that escape room. I think it is escape room.
Are you sure? I don't know.
No, it's not escape room. What's the safe room? The one where you lock yourself up because you got burglars. That one. Oh my God! You really shouldn't have me on this program. I'm just losing
safe room. No, panic room.
And it's a panic room, yes. and it's a Friday night. You know what I mean? It's not like it's.
That's true.
It's Yeah. So sorry about that. Apologies, everybody.
No, I'm the same.
Panic room was the last time I saw her or anything. So it was actually quite nice to see her in something again and playing somebody who was on the face of it quite unpleasant. And I thought it was really good.
I saw in a film called Hotel Artemis. She was in with Dave Bautista.
That's right.
And, that was a dreadful film. Absolutely dreadful.
Okay, right. But I think I always got me interested in seeing that. Yeah, because I'm on a sort of Jodie Foster mission at the moment, so I'd quite like to see that film.
Yeah,
when it hits the streaming services.
It's already on there. That's Netflix. Netflix film.
Is it on Netflix? Oh, thank you. Thank you for that recommendation.
Okay, cool. Next category, let's go to Best Original Screenplay. And we have Anatomy of a Fall. We have The Holdovers. We have Maestro. We have Past Lives. All four of those also nominated for Best Picture. But the other one that we can talk about, or at least Iona and I can talk about it, is May December, which was also on Netflix, I believe. A Netflix film.
Forgetting about this movie. It was.
So, me too. Yeah. What did you think of it?
No, I didn't like it. I keep forgetting that I watched it. I just don't do that. Yeah, I think I'd looked at my notes that I had from it, and I just was reading it, trying to jog my memory. I don't think it's been nominated. I don't get it. I don't, compared to the other ones, I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. I thought it was good, and I thought it's a good concept, but it just doesn't go to places that maybe it could have done. I thought it's a good idea. It's about the person studying the famous, like the actor studying the famous, or the person that went viral, and she's going to make a picture on her life. I don't want to spoil anything for Ian. But it was good, and it was Natalie Portman, who I like, and I thought she was good. Julianne Moore, who was, I don't know if her character was annoying me more than anything else, so maybe she's doing her job there because she's not meant to be very likeable.
I think it was a character because she'd done my hair.
But it's a good concept, but I think it had a lot of potential. It sounds like a total, it's very wanky to say, but it kind of, it doesn't go to where it, like you're waiting for a kind of outburst or a real kind of game-changing moment. It doesn't really come, but it was good enough. I don't know if it merits an original screenplay nomination. But there you go.
I think for me, it's Holdovers because it's just so fresh and it's not particularly original, but the language it's just so well written. The characters. I often used to think, you know, that actors are getting nominated for these awards. It's the role that's being nominated. You know, it's the opportunity to play that part because it's so well written or so well constructed or something. You know, that it's the role that attracts people to, you know, to you know, you said in the Barbie movie, Iona, that speech that she had that speech. You know, and yeah, the writer, you have to owe it to the writer. It's the writer that gives you the opportunity to flourish, you know, and any actor will tell you that, I think, if they're honest, you know, and I think Holdovers did that. It was just such, again, complex characters that were, you know, one moment that you saw things in them that were admirable and things that you liked, and it wasn't afraid to show you aspects of them that were deplorable. I do think, though, that in terms of the script, it was probably a work of art on paper, you know. When it was delivered, and probably would have worked as a radio play or a novel, you know, that sort of idea. So I don't know if it was a novel. No, it couldn't have been an adaptation. It was the best original screenplay.
Original, yeah. So there you
go.
Yeah, so that's even more impressive almost. Yeah, so I'd probably agree with you there. In terms of what I think will win it, I think it might go to the Holdovers. It might go to Anatomy of a Fall though. Which I don't. Did you see Anatomy of a Fall, Ian?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I liked it. I just thought. Yeah, I did. I liked it very much. So it probably would. But because, you know, it's difficult, and this is failing in me, but it's difficult to tell sometimes about performances or a script when you don't know the language. And so you can't appreciate it in the same way, I think. You know, and so effectively you're kind of reading it as you go along, in a sense. And it's, I mean, it's quite compelling. It's good stuff. And I like... Sandra Hüller, she was in Tony Erdmann, I remember, a few years ago, and that was an extraordinary film that I loved. You know, she was in that. I knew I recognised her.
And she's in The Zone of Interest. She's the commander's wife in The Zone of Interest as well. Right. Yeah, so she's having a great year. I thought she was amazing in Anatomy of a Fall. I thought she was incredible. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I thought her son, the actor played her son too, and I liked the lawyer. You know, I thought that was quite a complex part to bring off. I liked the prosecution guy as well. Actually.
He was a bastard, though, wasn't he? He was a bastard.
But I thought, you know, great. I loved the fact that the actor there was no sort of like redeeming feature at all. You know. Just so well done. I love that.
Okay, cool. So good category there. Adapted screenplay again are all 5 films nominated for Best Picture, as well as Best Adapted Screenplay. So we have American Fiction, we have Barbie, we have Oppenheimer, we have Poor Things, and we have The Zone of Interest. So because I think that Oppenheimer will win Best Picture. I think it will also win Best Adapted Screenplay. I guess it is different things, though. But I thought the person who changed Poor Things, the book, into a screenplay had a hell of a job on their hands. I think they did a very good job. I really enjoyed the film, and I think that would be my pick to win Best Adapted Screenplay.
So it's a contender.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for the kind of effort that was put into taking the old school novel and making it into the film that we saw. I thought that was probably quite a hard job.
I felt like there was too much in it, and it kind of repeated a bit. Like it was, that point's been made already. That when I watched it and straight after coming out of it. So like,
I think Mandy said that too, didn't she? She felt like that.
Yeah.
I just I didn't want to say I didn't like it because I thought that was too strong. Like I did enjoy like watching it, and enjoy the experience of it. But yeah, as a whole, I don't know about the actual film. I just felt like there was just too much, and I think I still stand by that. I can say I like it, but I still think there's too much in it.
Don't feel like you have a lot of times. I'm like that too. You hear that you should have liked this film, and it influences me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh yeah, me too, man. Yeah, I love films. Yeah, Emma Stone, great. And I would say that, but like, I did enjoy it. I thought she was great. And Ian, last week you were talking about, or the week before, whenever we did the episode, you were talking about the music that was haunting you, like the soundtrack of the film. I was doing like a post on social media, like to promote the episode or whatever, and I added a wee bit of the soundtrack to it. And my God, I couldn't pick the right one because it's all so dramatic and the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's minimalist and relentless, and it's I'm not knocking it. It's good. I just thought that that kind of music, it would work well. I would really love to use that in a theatre production. But no, I agree. I totally agree with Iona. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, there is that element. It's just a little bit baggy, a little bit. Could we make it just leaner?
2.5 hours, and you know what I mean?
Because there's no doubting the visual impact of it and the performances and so on, but it was just like, oh God, it just overstays its welcome just for a little bit. But so many films do now. I mean, the thought of watching, I've not watched the Scorsese movie yet, but what is putting me off, there's the running time. You know, because I feel like I've got to like go to the gym and train for a couple of days before I sit down and watch it, you know.
That's why I saw it at the cinema, because I was like, I'm not going to watch this in the house.
That's it, and because I didn't, and that's the thing, and I'm going to be stopping every now. I need to go for a pee, you know, I need to, or whatever. But it annoys me that the foreign language films that have been nominated as best foreign language films, none of their scripts seem to be in those categories.
Taken seriously, or the international films as they're called now, because you don't want to offend anybody.
And it's kind of like, oh, come on, guys, you know.
Okay.
Pretty predictable.
It's quite predictable. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that one, right? So we have the main four that I always look at when it comes to
adapted. Yeah.
Barbie was adapted, yeah. Okay, so we have Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress.
Okay.
Best Actor, we have Bradley Cooper in Maestro as Leonard Bernstein. We have Coleman Domingo in Rustin as Bayard Rustin. We have Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers as Paul Human. We have Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer as J. Robert Oppenheimer. And we have Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction as Monk Ellison. Theonos Ellison. Okay.
I think I've got this one figured out.
Go for it.
I put money on it.
Me too.
I don't think Cillian Murphy's going to get it.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say.
No. I don't think he'll get it. I think I would love Paul Giamatti to get an Oscar because I think he's wonderful and he's fantastic, but I don't think he's going to win. I don't think Cillian Murphy's going to get it. I think Jeffrey Wright will get it. And I know I've not seen the film, but I know Jeffrey Wright is an actor. Obviously, I've seen a lot of his stuff, and he is one of these people where I think there's going to be a feeling it's about time.
Like we were talking about DiCaprio earlier.
Because he's in his 60s now. Yeah, I think there's going to be. I've just got a feeling in my side. I've got a feeling that when I get to see that film, that's the film I'm going to like probably the most. I don't know why. I'm really pissed off I've not seen it because I think he's wonderful. I think he's a really good actor, and I think because he's American and not Irish, I think that'll edge it. I really do, and I just think there's a bit of cynicism against Oppenheimer.
There is. And I think because of the award season, it has become that. But it was also there last summer because everybody was like, you should just go see Barbie instead. But then you had the other people who were like, I'm going to see a real film and I'm going to see Oppenheimer.
They did say that those two films sort of saved cinema for a bit, you know, after the lockdown and what have you. And
absolutely. And I've got a big rant about that I'm going to give you in about 6 minutes.
Yeah. So, no, that's what I think anyway. I reckon it's going to be Jeffrey Wright.
I love that take. Was not expecting you to say that. I was very confident. I think that Cillian Murphy will get it only because he got all the other ones. He's like usually it's like whoever got the Golden Globe, he'll probably get the Oscar. But he also got the BAFTA and he got everything. He got the SAG award and he got everything. So that made me think. Well, he's just as you say, it's quite predictable. And he was brilliant. He was great in the film. but I thought Bradley Cooper was exceptional in Maestro.
Well, I love Bradley Cooper as well, and I love Maestro, as you know, but I just don't think he's got a chance.
No,
I
he
just
doesn't.
think
He
there's
doesn't.
two. I just
He doesn't.
don't think that people took to it.
Yeah.
I think it's a marvelous film, as you know. I think it's brilliant and it's well deserving. And I think Katie Mulligan's very deserving, but I actually don't think she'll win either.
That's another thing. Like,
So,
as soon as I saw that
you
film,
know.
I was like, those two performances were outstanding. The two performances made the film, in my opinion. And I thought, because obviously it's all about him, it's his project for the past 10 years or something. And I was like, Carey Mulligan was better than him. I couldn't believe it. I thought she was amazing, but she's not gonna.
That shows how good a job he did, because that was his point. The point of the film was about the marriage.
Yeah.
So she had to be a focus, of it, the focus of it. And I don't know if people were expecting it to be more about his music and so on, but that's been done. That's the thing. That's not what I want to see, and I'm a big fan of Bernstein.
Yeah.
So,
well.
No, I loved it, but
I know it's not really Iona's cup of tea. So she was kind of hesitant to watch it, and I think you watched it this week, and you weren't the biggest fan, just because it's not really. It is quite slow paced and stuff, but it's what I liked about it was based on their relationship, and it was almost like they just let the actors. I know he was the director, but they just kind of let the actors curate the relationship. And
there was a stylistic choice that
it happens on screen. They are in love on screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was your thing, Iona.
No, I tried my best to watch it. And also what I will say is, watching all of these the ones that I've seen so far, I've not looked up what they're about, a whole backstory or anything. Like, I've just went in blind. That's like, so
I like that too, yeah.
When I put Maestro on, what on earth it was about. Well, I did a bit, but I had no idea what the story entailed. And maybe it was just the kind of time of night and the kind of mind frame I was in, but I was just not clicking with it, and I ended up just having to put it off, because I thought, I'm going to force myself to watch it and just not like it. So I haven't. Don't hate me, Ian. I put it off.
That's okay. Yeah.
But I think it was possibly because I didn't know what it. I think maybe now I should kind of see. Oh, it's more about their marriage and that whole thing. I don't know what I was expecting, so maybe
you would have liked it more if you came to the cinema. I think with me, I think you would have liked it more.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe, but yeah, it's. You don't have to like everything, that's the richness of it. That's what I was saying about the Oscars. If I was able to encourage people to redesign them, it should be more about this, about the fact that some people like this, some people don't like that, and encouraging the idea that people can not agree, but enjoy discussing it and not agreeing, instead of being combative. I think it would be a wonderful, useful social tool to encourage people to do that. Because I understand that. I was talking to one of my students who hated it. I was recording them talking about their favorite films of the year, which I will make available to Chris. But they were, and somebody said that they hated it, and I was like, oh, it's okay, yeah. But I was able to say why I liked it, and they didn't know why I like it. And then you end up going, okay, I'll maybe consider that. That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
In a way,
Iona, prediction of, I know you've not seen them all, prediction of who you think's going to win and who you'd like to win.
100. Well, I completely believe that Cillian Murphy will get it, because I think it's, he's got everything else, so we'll just give him the Oscar. But even though I didn't watch it all, I think the dedication, commitment that Bradley Cooper put in to the performance, maybe not, maybe this is more to do with the film, but the that he put into that whole project, I think kind of gives him a good right to the Oscar, to the win. I think
absolutely.
You've done it, well done, it paid off moment. And obviously I would like Paul Giamatti to get it, because I bloody loved The Holdovers and him in it. I think he's be such a lovely man. But yeah, I don't know. I think Cillian will get it. I think we'll get it.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, great. So Best Actress this year is an absolutely solid category. all 5 of these performances are outstanding. So we have Annette Bening in Naiad, playing Diana Naiad. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, as Molly. Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of the Fall, of a Fall, who plays a character called Sandra. Carey Mulligan in Maestro as Felicia Montenegri.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say it? And Emma Stone in Poor Things as Bella. Okay, so I've seen all these, and favourite performance was probably Carey Mulligan, but I believe Emma Stone is going to win this, more so just for the shift that she put in. She was amazing in the film in Poor Things. I would love to see Sandra Hüller get something, especially because she's kind of come out of nowhere for me. I didn't know who she was until I watched these 2 films that she's in this year, exam season, Oscar season. And I think they've all got a good chance, but I think, I think Emma Stone's going to win. What say you?
I think I don't know. Emma Stone, good chance, and her performance obviously was marvelous. I quite like Annette Bening to win. I don't know though. Has she won an Oscar before? Do we know? Has she been nominated?
I think
She's been nominated. She's definitely been
she's been
nominated.
Definitely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me just do a quick.
I don't know. Just
continue
as you were
talking.
saying, like one of those ones. Is it about time? Like one of those.
Yeah,
moments?
it could be that. Yeah, and I think that's something that could swing it. Yeah, definitely. And I've not seen the performance, but I know that she's a wonderful actress. You know, yeah.
She's won a BAFTA and 2 Golden Globes, but she's been nominated for 5 Oscars, but she's not won.
There you go. There you go. It says it all. You know,
that could happen.
Because a lot of the other ones will have another chance because they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Carey Mulligan, her time will come again in a film that will be more publicly celebrated.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the problem with it, is the film. It's, you know, wonderful performance, film not liked as much, but I mean, I'd love it if she won it. The Anatomy of a Fall, Sandra, what's the second? Sorry.
I think it's Hüller.
Hüller, sorry, I beg your pardon. Sandra, she's fantastic as well. But the chances of her winning a vote, you know, because you've got to remember it's a vote.
Yeah.
And I actually think I actually think Lily Gladstone will win it.
Really?
Yeah. I think Emma Stone's is too wacky, too crazy.
Do you think?
Aye, and she's already got hers, and she's still young, and so I don't think she'll ever win over Annette Bening ever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either going to be Annette Bening or Lily Gladstone, for me. Yeah, one of those 2.
I'm just I'm trying to remind myself what she won her Oscar for. Was it La La
I haven't
Land?
seen. I've not seen the Martin Scorsese film, but I've seen enough of it. I've seen her bits in it, and I just think, yeah, that's, you know, it's up there. It's that could win it, but yeah, it's a toss up between Annette Bening and Lily Gladstone for me. Sorry, you were saying about her previous Oscar win, yeah.
Yes, I was trying to figure it out. So it was for La La Land.
La La Land,
she was incredible in that, and she was nominated for The Favourite, and she was nominated for Birdman. I thought she was great in Birdman. Remember Birdman? Yeah. What a film that was.
Yeah.
Right, okay, cool. That's a solid category. Best Director, we have
very quickly, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What do you think about Barbie, about Margot Robbie not getting nominated? I'm interested to hear you.
My thoughts on that are, again, that's what I was going to talk about when we got to the Best Picture list, and we're going to talk about Barbie itself, but we can do it now.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think if you're going to nominate Ryan Gosling, right, for Ken. Now, I know it's a different category, right? What I didn't like about this whole argument, I'm trying to remember my thoughts on this because it was a few months ago, but my annoyance with everybody who was throwing their toys at the pram on this thing about the fact that Margot was snubbed from the Oscars, but Ryan Gosling was nominated, was that they're not nominated against each other. You know what I mean? It's not as if they picked Gosling over her. They didn't do that. It's different categories, right? What I was more amazed about was the fact that of all the films, of all the performances, they narrowed it down to one of the top 5 being Ryan Gosling as Ken. And I can guarantee you, when he saw he was nominated, he had a wee laugh. There's no way, right? Now, is he great in the film? Yeah, he's funny. Like, he does a really good job, does it great. But of all the films, you know what I mean? That was just my gripe with it, right? And then if I'm thinking, okay, well, Margot will get something for it then. If we're looking at Barbie in that way, she'll get something. And the fact she didn't, I was shocked by, because I'm not, the 5 that were nominated, I do think were far superior than Margot and Barbie. However, it's like double standards in a way. So I'm kind of being a hypocrite going back on myself there, but it is different categories, right? He's also nominated for supporting, not lead actor. She was the lead. I get it, right? It's tougher competition. America Ferrera got her nomination for supporting. That's fine. She deserves that, right? My thing about Barbie as a film being nominated for Best Picture, and people were going, why is it nominated for Best Picture? You know what I mean? And I said it on the podcast. I went to see Barbie, had a great time. Really, really enjoyed the film. And it was a nice change of pace from Oppenheimer that I saw the following week, because everyone was seeing them together. My question was, did Barbie have somewhat of an influence on cinema? Did it affect cinema? Did it change the way people were thinking about cinema? The answer was yes. So does that mean it deserves a nomination? Absolutely. It definitely deserves a nomination. Is it going to win? Absolutely not. It's nowhere near as good as some of these other films, but it did make a difference because everybody saw it. Everybody saw it. And as you said, Ian, partly brought in so much more money that cinemas that were on the brink of shutting down are now still open, not only for that film, but it was a big part of it that summer with those 2 big films.
Undeniably.
And, yeah, that's kind of how my feelings on it. I think she was great in the film, and I think she did a great job. I don't think she would have won over the 5 that are nominated for Best Actress, but if you're going to nominate him, you had to nominate Margot, which is my opinion. But it's different categories. What about you?
Yeah. It's an argument you don't even want to get into, really, because in order to have the argument with level heads, you need unmotivated minds to be considering the argument. And there's so many people passionate about it for whatever reason they're passionate about it, that whatever you say, they're going to get annoyed, And not that I'm worried about being cancelled at my age, but, people have got their reasons for being very, very passionate about it and see the Oscar nominations as being some sort of validation. And I would like there to be a world where an Oscar nomination isn't necessarily a validation, just your enjoyment of what somebody does is a validation enough. So I think that's another reason Oscars can be a force of badness.
Yes.
Because this kind of thing happens, right? And yes, I enjoyed it enough. It was fine. I enjoyed it enough. And I know it was going to be divisive. It always was going to be. For various reasons. I don't think it should be nominated for any Oscars, to be honest with you. Maybe design, things like that. But I think that Barbie belongs in a certain section of cinema where the other films like the Marvel movies and the Bond movies and all that belong. That they're massive, big box office blockbusters, but you never get an actor in one of these movies, or the movies themselves are never nominated for Best Picture, or you never get a Best Actress or a Best Actor from these movies because the box office, the blockbusters.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be anything else. That's what they do, and if you want to make an artistic statement with them, that's great. That's super. That gives it another level, but the expectation isn't for plaudits like when you go into this industry demanding that you're deserving of an award, that's when there's toxicity in it.
Yeah.
If you go into it thinking this should get awards, what I'm doing should do, then that's when that should be cancelled. And I don't, and like I say, I love the Marvel movie. I love Bond movies. I'm not putting it in a category that I feel is any less deserving of praise or enjoyment or loyalty. But I think when it comes to artistry, it genuinely wasn't that. Margot Robbie has done so many better films,
Yeah.
and her performances have been brilliant in some of them, and she's not been recognised. Greta Gerwig, I think Barbie's her least good film. Greta Gerwig's made some fantastic films, and Barbie's a good film too, but it doesn't belong in the. Her next film will be the one, and everyone will go, "Wow, I bet you." Her last film was like that. It's I don't know. It's a dangerous area to go into because people are very passionate about it. But I actually don't think that it was universally loved as much, just in the same way. And comparing it to Oppenheimer was just such nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And that was a marketing thing. It was about, they were turning Oppenheimer and Barbie into the Blur and Oasis of 2023. And it was like, oh, come on. For a start, is anybody really daft enough to be suckered into this?
Right.
Yes, I'll go and see both films, but I'm not going to compare them.
Yeah.
What a lot of nonsense, And the fact that Ryan Gosling is nominated for an Oscar is going to backfire on them because that's just nonsense. And I agree with you, Chris. I think he's sort of going, Jesus. And if he wins, oh God.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows. Yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, he's another actor that has knocked his pan in for his whole life.
Yeah.
To get these awards.
I mean, did he get an award for La La Land?
I don't think so. He was
like
nominated.
Emma Stone did. I mean, he did everything but did it facing the forward. He did the same dances. I don't know. It's like. I mean, I know people I've talked to, young people that I've spoken to. It's not universally loved. But nothing is,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to sort of. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to sit on the fence, but I'm not trying. I don't want to say something that's going to be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a tradition in cinema. There are certain kinds of movies that you accept as being great and entertaining and great box office, and everyone loves them. But you would never ever have them in the Oscars.
Yeah.
Because that's not where they belong. That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
These films are for making money and populist and if they've got, and they can have statements, they can have stand for something and all that kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. But it sort of makes a mockery of the whole thing, and it sort of, in a way, proves sort of adds a little bit of fuel to what I was saying earlier about we need to redesign the way this has all worked.
Because, I mean, it definitely deserves accolades and stuff, but as you say, you can't, you're comparing it to Oppenheimer, but all the films in the category are different. You can't compare Maestro to Oppenheimer.
No.
And Poor Things to the Zone of Interest.
I've had a problem with that. I've had a problem with that for years as well,
Yeah.
I have to say. Yeah. And it's kind of like, you can't compare. Yeah, it's like that. When you name these list of actresses, I'm thinking, oh, come on. How can you compare them?
How can you pick? Yeah.
The fact that they gave a nomination to Ryan Gosling, I thought that was really comical, and it was funny that they didn't give it to Margot, but at the same time I'm like, but if they were, in my head, which is maybe quite cynical, if they were to give it to Margot, I would be saying they're only giving it to Margot because they've given Ryan a nomination. Like, I don't think
you could maybe say that they're both supporting. Is he up for supporting actor?
Yeah.
And the other one is as well, isn't it?
America Ferrera, yeah.
Yeah, so they're both supporting roles, so they do kind of balance each other out.
So maybe,
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people were raging that she was snubbed from an Oscar, but as you say, she's done better performances in other things, I think.
Aye.
Like the whole film was great, but yeah, I don't know, the performance wise,
Can you win an Oscar for playing Barbie? That's like winning an Oscar for playing Iron Man or James Bond or
Right. Best Director, we've got Justine Triet in Anatomy of a Fall, Martin Scorsese in Killers of the Flower Moon, wonder why he's nominated, Christopher Nolan in Oppenheimer, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, and Jonathan Glazer in The Zone of Interest. Nolan's going to win. Is
you
he?
think?
Wait a minute. Just looking at this again, I don't know actually.
I don't think he will.
I don't know actually. I'm just going back and forth now. What did you think?
But why does he automatically deserve it? I don't know if he does.
I don't mean it
does
like
he
that.
deserve it?
I don't mean it that he automatically deserves it. I just mean he's that was what everyone was saying, wasn't it? As you're kind of talking about the whole episode, like about people just getting nominated because they're who they are. You know what I mean?
But directors like that traditionally get snubbed. The key word, snubbed, for years before they're allowed to get one. I mean, Scorsese didn't get one for years, and neither did Spielberg. And they were punting out films for, punting out things like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, which you would never ever nominate for an Oscar because they're in that category as well of films. Anyway, I don't know. I think
That's a tough one, actually.
It's an outside bet that the director of Anatomy of a Fall might do, but I don't know. I don't know if it will be. I reckon.
Do you think Yorgos will win it?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's wacky, isn't it? It'd
He
be
won one
good
before?
if one of those two won it. It'd be good if one of those two won it.
Has he won one before?
No.
No, he's not, but he's been nominated 6 times.
Yeah. I think it'd be great if one of those two, Anatomy of a Fall or things. Yeah. Just to freshen things up a bit. Because, the Christopher Nolan doesn't need one.
No, he doesn't.
And
but it can make a career. You know what I mean? It can make a career.
He's already got. He's an auteur. He's Christopher Nolan.
Of course.
He's I don't know. So I don't know.
Iona.
I don't know how you can decide between those. They're such different movies.
Any thoughts?
Not really, because I don't know, in my head I just don't see the difference between Best Director and Best Picture. But I don't know if I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
I suggested that to you last week and you bit my nose off for saying that.
What is the criteria for Best Director? Do you know what I mean? But it's easy. You're Best Actor. You expect performance, character, best get the writing. But
you're so right. You're so right. What does a director do, and who did that job best? And so you're talking about ensembles and working with actors. And...
How could you go? Who directed their film the best? It's their film.
I know.
You know what I mean? How can you pick between this? But anyway, we're not here to.
Is Bradley Cooper up for this?
No.
Yeah, see, but I mean, I know I'm biased, but arguably, he did one of the best jobs as a director because the stylistic nature of it and the way that the actors were working with the sound department and blah, blah, blah to come up with that particular way, a bit Robert Altman-like, where it was people talking over one another and mixed live and all that kind of thing. You could argue that the skills involved in that were very deserving.
But he's in the Academy, is he not?
He's not necessarily Best Picture, but in terms of him doing his job, I'm only saying this as an example, but so I don't know. It'd be really cool if there was somebody new getting one, Anatomy of a Fall. There's a lot of skill involved in that, and in working with the actors certainly. And there's a lot of skill in Poor Things. I mean, the whole reining together all those different departments to create that world shot in the studio. Whereas Oppenheimer maybe is just a more vast. I don't know.
I think why I thought Nolan straight away is because if it is a voting system, people will automatically go to him, and also with the level of the cast and the severity of the topic.
There is a lot of respect
and
for him.
And the way they kind of, you know what I mean? Like the scene of Cillian Murphy walking into the hall when they're all applauding him and all that sort of stuff. I thought that was really well done. There's loads of stuff in the film that I think will probably edge it for him.
The fact that he's got so many Oscar winners playing bit parts.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's probably the thing, that's quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Okay, and I mean, we've been chatting about all of them throughout the episode. So, the 10 Best Picture nominees in alphabetical order.
Jesus.
There you go. American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, which we've not spoke about, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. I'll give you my predictions and then I'll let you go at it. My prediction of what will win will be Oppenheimer. What I want to win, my favourite film out of the 10, I've only seen 8 of them, but out of the 10 films, my favourite one was The Holdovers. And I'd like The Holdovers to win it, but it's not gonna. It's not got a chance in hell. But I would love it to, and I think Oppenheimer has got it. Iona, as far as I'm aware, you're the only one out of the three of us that saw Past Lives.
Did I text you that? No, I've not
Yes.
seen it. I've
Oh, I
seen it
thought
for
you-
10 minutes.
That's a film I would
Blatantly lying to me.
I think I'm gonna watch that this weekend because actually the look of it, it looks brilliant.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, and I have a feeling it's actually on at the cinema this weekend as well. So there's a chance to still see it at the cinema.
As long as you see it before Sunday, as long as you see it, you'll be good.
But I don't know. I would like to think that maybe would have a chance. I haven't seen it, but I really like the look of it and
Yeah.
what it may bring. So I would hope that would have a chance. Apart from that, I completely agree with Chris. That's what I think will happen. And in many ways, Oppenheimer, as opposed to the best director, I think best picture. Yeah, I think Poor Things has got a shout, but I think it's not as constructed quite as well as Oppenheimer, and because Oppenheimer did so much to played its part in re-elevating cinema and the support that you'll have. I mean, how many Oscar winners has he got as tiny bit parts and walk-ons? The support for him is huge. So yeah, it probably will be that. There's a foreign language film that I would like to point out because again, I've not seen it. I want to go and see it. It's on at the GFT this weekend, and it's called The Teacher's Lounge. And I think I've only watched all the trailers of all of them. That one is so intriguing. I think the arguments in it and the subject matter are quite explosive. So
Okay.
I think that's one to look out for, The Teacher's Lounge. I'd like to see that doing well.
Leonie Benech stars as a teacher tasked with finding out which of her students is responsible for a series of thefts. Thefts.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So and it looks kind of one of those films where you're going to be shouting it at the screen.
Okay.
As you watch it, because there'll be a lot of I think that'll be quite an antagonizing one.
You think Killers of the Flower Moon's got a shout of getting anything in the Scorsese film?
Don't know. I've not. I think it's. I don't. I've got a feeling that nobody will vote for it because they don't want to encourage people making films at 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
So let's not encourage them.
Andy's who he is, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the last one, The Irishman, was about that long as well, wasn't it? Like, come on now, Martin. Come on. Brevity, for goodness sake.
You've gotten both your
Used to
nominations. This is it.
You've maybe not got Thelma Schoonmaker anymore, but, get out yourself an editor, boy.
Yes.
Okay. And then you get more films out,
Yeah.
Instead of making these big long ones every
He's so
2 years.
old, man. He's so old. He's so old,
well,
man.
and there's that to think about as well, so maybe a sort of an 80-minute film next one, so he's sure he's going to get it finished.
Oh, dear. Right, Iona.
This is terrible. This is terrible.
Iona, prediction of who you think and then who you want.
Purely just the way that the award seasons went, Oppenheimer, I think I'll get it. Same as you guys though, Holdovers, just loved it. I think it was just such a well-rounded, thought out, beautiful, just a hug and a movie. I love it. But Poor Things was quite wacky, and as I say, I enjoyed the experience of it, like of watching it. Even though it had a lot in it, but still, I don't know. I don't know who I want. Holdovers,
Yeah.
don't
I
wanna
think
be the
it'll come.
Mm.
The guy who did Poor Things, I think it is a he, isn't it? I can't remember his name.
Yorgos. Yeah.
Yorgos, yeah. I think his day will come. He is contributing to cinema.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it.
He's one of
He's
those
taking from the past and he's
Yeah.
regurgitating. And I mean, they're re-releasing. I think I made you guys watch it in college. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
You did, yeah.
The regurgitating Dr. Caligari
Oh,
with the guy from Kraftwerk doing the soundtrack, or they have done, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
What is the original film, but just with remastered music?
Yeah, and I'll be the only person that buys it probably. Yeah, but but he's definitely taken from that idea, that the Caligari thing about filming it all in the studio and it all being quite surreal and you can appreciate that. But he's doing something with it, you know. So I think there's a lot of poor things that will be appreciated. And usually what the Oscars do is they reward films like that by giving them the best costume, best
Right.
art director and stuff as an acknowledgement that, yeah, it was really good. But
Here's your award, but did it get the
yeah,
big one?
yeah. So it gets some Oscars.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that happens. You know.
Well,
But
it's going to be very interesting.
Who knows?
Who knows? It's going to be very interesting. I'm glad we've kind of seen what we've seen, and we've still got a week, so I'm going to try and catch the two I've not seen. I've not seen American Fiction, and I've not seen Past Lives. And as you say, Ian, both of them could be very, I don't know, impactful when it comes to performances and films themselves. So, yeah, thank you for your time tonight, guys. Thank you for doing your homework and watching a bunch of these films this season. I know it's relatively abnormal for Iona to do that.
I know, I feel like now I need to watch the Oscars. Normally I just wait and just like look at online. I'm like, who won what? But now I feel like I need to watch it.
We watched remember the one they did it differently because of COVID, like 2021. We watched them together. Remember?
Did they?
Yeah, like remember they shot it weirdly.
And you're talking to Iona, aren't you?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've had a complete and utter blackout.
Yeah, it was like 2021, and it was the one they kind of shot it like a kind of like in a film studio, and it's like there was no audience, but the actors were still sitting there, and she doesn't remember.
Well, I think Iona and I should get together on Zoom while we watch the red carpet.
Yes.
This year.
Yeah, we'll record that.
That's a good idea, man. That's a good idea.
See what we feel about the frocks.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Well, lovely to see you all.
Yes, thank you for your time today, everybody. Appreciate you all. Thank you for listening to this episode. Let us know what you think on the socials, what you think is going to win Best Picture, Best Director, all that good stuff at The Good Bit Pod on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. And you can check out all the video versions in the archives on YouTube, as well as on Spotify, Apple and all those other good places when it comes to the podcasting platforms. Until then, everybody, take care of yourselves and we'll catch you all down the road.